might go a little bit over, but we'll make sure to respect your time and let you know, and feel free to drop off if it does go over. We want to have an opportunity to have some reflection of the information that we learned about continuous learning and learning from home, and some discussion questions as well to ground us. And then big questions that come up with us. We'll close it out that way. So we'll start out with our guests, and I'm going to switch over to our, just one second, please, while I switch over to our guests' PowerPoint. So let me see here.
Okay, Vanessa, I'm off of mute. You're going to switch on to the PowerPoint, right?
Yes, I am. This
I'm not
is
really
Mr.
ready
Ben Kramer.
I'm not ready for the screen, so get those slides up.
I'm working on it. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's not what I want to share. Give me just a second.
What's
Apologies.
going on, Vanessa? I'm not following.
Hang on. Oh, shoot.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ben. I know you can't see me right now. I'm here working from home like a lot of you. Lots of things have changed in our lives. Just trying to keep it normal.
Can you all see the screen now? Okay, go for it, Ben.
Oh, hi. Yes, great. Well, that's me. You can see that Muppet version of me. I look exactly like that. So I'm Ben Kramer, VP of Education for Austin PBS. I'm also a parent in AISD of 2 kids. So here's what we know in this rapid time of upheaval, because we're tracking screen time use, and we're following along just like all of you to say, how is life changing? So we know in general, screen time is up about 400% across all households in our viewing area. We are seeing a variety of uses, of course, work for all the folks working at home, school, for all the kids trying to school at home, for diversion, for comfort, for babysitting, you name it. And so for all of those reasons, we have shifted in our own smart screen time presentations to try to take into account the new normal. Our PBS Learning Media, our main website for educational resources, is up 300% in our region. This week alone, we've had 20,000 users going to PBS Learning Media. We think the vast majority of those are teachers and students, and so that's good news for us. That shows us that people are accessing our educational content at home. We know that families are time shifting. Kids are not up as early as they normally are, and they are staying up later. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. We know that social media is a vital lifeline for all of us, but especially for kids. Talk more about that in a little bit too. Here's another thing we know, which probably will feel intuitive to you, all of you who have multiple kids in the household. Those older kids are driving what's being viewed in the home. So some advice on that in the next screen. So what remains true in our world? We remain convinced that educational media can be awesome, and especially given the vast variety of educational media that's out there. We also know that other media can be used in wise ways, tapping into media that kids are using or that families are using. As long as, even if it's not officially educational, there are smart ways to use it. On the flip side, we know that screen time up until the point of bedtime will interrupt sleep for all humans, but particularly for kids. So one pause for consideration is just what is happening in your lives up till the point of bedtime. Not only does that tend to, even if you're trying to hold to the same bedtime for kids, if they're watching screens all the way up to bedtime, they're likely staying awake longer before falling off to sleep and likely sleeping in later. We know that images and languages matter. So for example, with the notion that older kids are driving the remotes or driving what's viewed, I'm hearing from teachers who are doing Zoom conferences with younger kids, and they're hearing in the background what's on the TV. They know that the older kids are choosing that content, and they also are concerned that that content might not be the best role modeling for kids. So consider, you know, a kid's on a Zoom call having a story time, and in the background, the teacher is very obviously listening to Grand Theft Auto or a shoot 'em up movie. That too gives us a little bit of a cause for concern. You know, I always get asked how much screen time is enough or not enough, or safe or not safe. And in this particular time, I would say your best bet, setting aside numbers for now, is to look for agitation in your kids. Look for, you know, kind of them getting off of screens and not being at their best for whatever reason. It could be social media, it could just be excessive exposure, it could be they've seen something that has unsettled them. And then the other piece is always to look for screen zombies, those kids who literally have shut down in front of screens. That is your cue to turn screens off and to send them to do something else. They might not be happy about it, but chances are they will be better for it. So in terms of how we've adjusted otherwise, we are now into week 2 of our at-home learning television broadcast. We have converted our main channel. Those of you who are used to seeing PBS Kids on in the daytime on our main channel are noticing very different content. From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, we're airing content for a range of learners. This is not only in conjunction with AISD, it's a statewide effort involving all of the Texas PBS stations, as you can see, and TEA. The main reason for this is our estimate that at least 25% of Texas youth will be unable to connect virtually with schools and classrooms. 25%. That's a huge number of kids across our state. And so what we have determined that we would do is put up what we consider a plan B. We know that most districts hold to their plan A, which is to try to connect directly with kids, teachers with kids, sustaining that really important connection to the classroom. Knowing that not all kids and families will be able to do that, we want to be the backup plan. In part because we're already in 99% of homes, easily accessible on that main channel. Our advice to schools and districts is to follow a TV plus text plan when you know that you can't get through to the families by Zoom or any of the other platforms, but you can text with them. If there's a way for you to direct them to programs and then have them text responses to programs or take a snapshot of something they've created in response to a program, that can count for that schoolwork, which will then go into the records and allow them to get that passing grade for the last quarter of the school year. We have committed to doing this at least through the end of May. We are still waiting to hear what official plans are for summer schools in districts and then according to TEA guidelines, and we'll base our responses based upon that. Next slide, please. Here's a brief glimpse at our schedule. That's a downloadable that's at the top of the page of that URL. It's a brief, you just see the morning block, the pre-K through 3 section, and then grades 4 through 8. On that website, though, if you go there, you will see that we have resources for every single episode that we're airing. The content is directly tied to what's happening on the screen at that time. So again, if you're a teacher and you're looking for something to send home to a kid, we suggest that you look at this website, find a resource connected to an episode, instruct your kid to watch the episode, and then choose a simple guideline to follow via text message as their response to that episode. It's been an amazing effort involving educators and television professionals from across the state to try to align our resources to what's happening on screens, and then in turn to make sure that's aligned to TEKS for this last quarter of the school year. Next slide, please. We also have 2 additional resources, and this is coming back more to our plan A. When teachers are able to reach kids, when families are using guidance from schools, we recommend that families and teachers and the kids themselves check out our resources pages, where we've tried to pull together a wide variety of resources, all free of charge, all commercial free, all educational, that families can use, access and use at home. Our recursos page is, I'll talk about more of that on Friday, but we've really tried to pull out the Spanish first resources.
Ben, I think hello? Okay, did we lose Ben? I think so. Yeah, okay. It may be frozen. Yes, I think so. Ben, this was great information. We're gonna move on to now Leonor speaking, and after Patricia speaks after her, we're gonna open it up to Q&A, so then hopefully we can unfreeze you as well. All right, Leonor Vargas from the Austin ISD office. Do you have slides that you wanna share?
Yes, if you could allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, I think you should be able to. Let me see. There you go.
All right, thank you. Hopefully mine won't freeze either. There you go. All right. Thank you everyone for this privilege to be here with y'all in a space of learning. I have already experienced some joys by Ms. Kelly's son. Thank you for sharing him with us, and also just learning about all the different childhood food that y'all have. I mean, using that is just such a way to start a meeting when we get to know each other as individuals and humans with soul and being human-centered. And I just wanted to, start with this screen, which is game changers. I think Vanessa, ACPTA, and everyone in this call, are game changers. It's through y'all's input and creating the space for us to learn from each other that we're becoming game changers to better serve our students and other families who are not here with us today. So with that said, I am going to try to start. Vanessa, thank you for the promotion. I'm actually the administrative supervisor for parent programs in the district, but I'll take a directorship, especially if it comes with a raise. I'll take it because then I can donate it to the Central Texas Food Bank. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about the family and community engagement support that we offer our families. I have the privilege to work with an amazing group of individuals, the parent support specialists, and also PTAs. The parent support specialists are majority in our Title I schools. And then I have an amazing team, Tia Vasquez, Marisol Frey, and Jennifer Lopez. And then I'm also part of the Department of Communications and Community Engagement as well. But just briefly, here is basically if y'all have never seen our website, the Parent Engagement Support Office basically works to foster relationships with our families and communities. The main thing that we really want to do is connect and engage and support our families and their students in partnership, like with Austin Council of PTA and other groups in the community. We coordinate and train all the campus-based parent support specialists at Title I schools. We have 72 of them, and I won't go into detail, but there is our link to Find Support website. And then also wanted to let families know that there are some free services that they can access right now through the AISD website. One is that we are providing free counseling for families in English and Spanish with a partnership with VITA. And the number is listed there, and as well as the email that people can access. And I know there's been conversations around how do I get support for my child who might be in special education. One thing that I'm seeing families is really using the phone number and a help desk to try to communicate with the special ed personnel that we have in AISD. Marisol Frey, who's on my team, is a social service specialist who is intended to support our bilingual families who might have children in special education. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to our office or reach out to her, and she is there to help you guide you in any of the services. Same alone thing, our parent support specialists are available to support our families. You know, right now, a lot of our families are in situations where they're facing hardship as a result of COVID-19, and they're there to families fill out applications related to food, housing, employment, etc. And also, if someone needs help accessing financial assistance, that they're there for that as well. I know we have some families who are really struggling to apply for unemployment benefits, and that is something that they have the capability to also interact with families using various platforms. Medical service appointments, and we're fortunate enough that we have a relationship with virtual care kids right now, and basically any family can access free medical services from their home without leaving their home. If for some reason, because of the AISD crisis fund no family has to pay a copay or anything. They basically can log in and sign up and get free medical service from their home. We provide counseling referrals as well. We have a large number of community partners we work with. One of them being Integral Care. We can help families connect with Integral Care if that is needed as well. The other thing, you know, there's a team of support within the district that, you know, it's not just the parent support specialists. There's counselors, there's licensed mental health professionals. We have the family resource centers. We have our SEL learning teams. We have our graduation coaches, and of course, Austin Council of PTAs and the PTAs that are at our campuses. And we have the refugee office in our welcome center, and we have Project Help. Project Help works with our families who are, you know, homeless or about to become homeless, and also our unaccompanied youth. So this is a core team that is, you know, available to our families in the district. And then also just want to let people know that at the website, www.austin-COVID-19, you can go on there and find, you know, the communications that are coming out from the superintendent, the board, or other departments. You can find information about our meals, our telehealth, as I mentioned, questions about the Chromebooks, Wi-Fi. I mean, right now we have set up some time that if a family's child's Chromebook is having issues, they can take it to various locations and trade it in for another one. So that is available. Something that we're promoting right now is called Let's Talk. Let's Talk is a way for our families to log in and basically leave a message or ask questions, and then someone will respond to that. Technical support for the AIC community. I have, with this new COVID-19, I have quickly learned about Zoom and other technology and platforms. So I find myself calling that technical support as well. And of course, within that website, we have all our programs, educational programs that are available. There's early childhood, monolingual, special education, school and family, community education, and library media services. And if you were to visit the website, on the far left, all you have to do is click within each of those departments, and each department has resources for our families based on the grade level that your child might be in. So I really encourage families to visit that website. If for some reason you're having a hard time navigating it, I'll be honest, it took me a while. I had to teach myself even as an AIC employee, but once I started playing with it, I was able to find all the resources, you know, just like we're sharing today and others. And then I also wanted to mention the family support line that's available to our families Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. That is a phone number for our families who do not have internet or who do not have a computer for whatever reason. They can call this number. There is bilingual staff that's available. I know that we have heard from our families that sometimes the wait time is too long or that someone hasn't gotten back to them. We are working right now, and conversation is how do we work out the kinks. I know, Vanessa, you've been vocal about that. We are working on that. I know I had my team, TA, Marisol, and Jennifer, hey, I want you to call as parents, call the line as parents, tell me what your experience was. And so we do that on a very regular basis. Is we have a commitment to viewing anything we do or offer or put out is how do we view it from a parent's lens? You know, and as always, we welcome everyone's input and how we can make it better. And finally, you know, I just want to mention this. I know there's a lot of resources that are being put out, you know, by different groups and, you know, numbers, and it can be overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me, but I want to offer this number. You know, when in doubt and you can't remember, just call 211. And there's this website called Connect ATX. You can find every COVID related and then some resources that you might have questions about or wanting to connect. So if any number you remember, just call 211 and they will help you. The cool thing about 211, they have staff that speak multiple languages beyond just English and Spanish. And so that is available there for y'all. And then finally, I say gracias for the privilege of your time. Thank you for sharing your time and talents, your resources with our students, their families and staff. Because I know it takes tolerance. I'm a firm believer that parents bring a lot of assets to our community and that you're our partners in educating your child. So I know I went really fast, but I was given 5 or 7 minutes. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Leonor. Now we have, stay on though, because we're going to do Q&A in just a bit. Patricia Nunez, would you like to provide us your words of wisdom as a parent and a former educator? And do you have any slides to share?
I do.
Okay, so I'm going to share the screen with you.
Okay, so let me, how do I do this? Can I share? Let me see, I'm trying to share my screen. And let's see. Are you seeing my screen now?
See.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can see it. We can hear you.
And let me switch that. So my name is Patricia Nunez, and I'm very, very happy to be here with you today. I think as a parent and also as a bilingual educator, this experience is has to be recognized as a crisis, right? Like, we are in crisis. This is unlike anything else we've lived. It was very unexpected. It was sprung on us. And I think we have to applaud the efforts from parents and teachers and all of the community organizations who have stepped up in a way really that it's nice. I think one of the words I used to describe how I'm feeling is peaceful, because I recognize now that we come together so well, right, to take care of ourselves in these times that can be very unstable in many ways for so many of us. What you see on the screen is, I think, one thing that I've shared with a lot of teachers as I work with teachers. Oh, I can't see my screen now. Here we go. Is really the reality of having our students do distance learning, right? And this is, I also try to tell parents, like a lot of parents reach out and they're like, Patricia, you know, my child is not getting all the work done. My child is not able to, and teachers reach out to me as well. And I think that there is it's okay for us to be forgiving of ourselves and our efforts, and recognizing that our children are going through some changes that are difficult, and that our expectations have to be aligned with who they are as humans, right? And developmentally. So here you see a table of really what are the expectations that we can make of our kiddos, right? Because even me as a parent found myself just getting a little more frustrated as I was trying to get my son to do his work, you know, but then also, you know, being brought back to reality when he shared with me, like, this is hard. This is hard. I'm not getting to see my friends. I'm not getting to go to school and have that little time of interaction with others. And I think that those conversations are what this time kind of requires of us as parents and as teachers, and that those are also education in many, many ways, right? That those are a way for us to work with our younger children, with ourselves, and how do we take care of ourselves emotionally, and then kind of recognizing what really helps me feel better in this when I find myself in this situation. I'm trying to change the slide. Okay, here we go. So I think that this table also talks to us that we're taking care of all these other different aspects of our life right now, of our mind, of our body, our spirit, and our environment. So that cleaning up a space in the house, that can be the task that we're going to work on today. And that, taking a walk for us to just talk while we're doing this, to dance, put on a song, share some stories about you growing up. All of those are beautiful opportunities, and they're educational, and they merit all the time that might be taken away from the instruction or the assignments that are sent home. And I just want to keep sharing that story with parents over and over again, because I think our anxiety rises, and then our children's anxiety also rises, right? That we have to kind of shift to, this is an opportunity for us to be together, we're together, and how can we make that time a little bit more, how can I say, peaceful, right? And then really, how can I say, foster it, right? I think we've done a lot of writing, we've done a lot of drawing, building puzzles, and all of those things are cognitively challenging, are academic in their own merit, right? So counting all of those things that our kids are doing, including even Ben was saying, Mr. Kramer was saying earlier, I find that when I hear my son doing some social media and even gaming, that he's having social conversations with kiddos. Like, this is a social time, So I don't get all irritated about, you're playing again, you're playing this game. It's really an opportunity to connect in a different way than we're used to, right? So seeing that those are the behaviors, and getting to know our kids better is a fine way to use this time that is maybe away from the brick and mortar schooling, but that we're in schooling with family. We're learning about what we do in the kitchen, what we do in the home to maintain a healthy space, to regulate our own emotions, and things like that. I'm hoping that this is helpful, because the anxiety associated a lot around trying to get those assignments finished, I feel has led a lot of students to become very, very anxious, as well as teachers. And I think that maybe the conversation has to move to, if there is grading that needs to be associated with this, how can we as parents advocate for our students, our children, to share their learning in different ways? And then that can be honored as funds of knowledge, things that we bring from home, family learning, and couch it in that way. That's what I have to share.
Thank you so much, Patricia. That was beautiful. That was perfect. I think a lot of us need to hear those words. And I think that our three guests, I beautifully provided information for our families. And now we're going to go ahead and open it to question and answer for our guests. We're going to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes just kind of opening it up to questions. So if anyone wants to unmute themselves or write it in the chat box.
I don't necessarily have a question per se, other than just, I feel like I literally zoomed into this call in between working on work that I need to get finished from my classes. But I'm going through the whole mommy guilt thing, because I have been the super mom. And, there was a reason why I was separated from my son from 7:45 to 3 p.m. on a daily basis. And our issue is not so much that he's in a bit of angst as well, because he's a student at Pease, so Pease is closing. They had that go on. Then we had this come into play, so now he knows the school is closing. We had to find a new school. We got put in one school, was all set for that, and then AIC came back and took us out of that one, had to find another school. and then this happened. So he's had 3, traumatic, things to happen, and now he can't see his friends. And the whole thing has been, we'll get through this because you'll get to see your friends. You'll get to see your friends. Well, now we're separated from friends. And he's the child that has the next level question for you that I am not prepared to answer. I am not a teacher. I know why. I know my limitations. I love him dearly, but he needs that next level. And I have to sit with him and focus on him to get it done and to answer all of his myriad of questions that he has about one problem that he takes to a whole nother level that me as mommy cannot do. So I'm starting to give away and say, oh, we spent so much time together, you got to do this, got to do that. No, that has not happened.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I want to, provide a little bit of an opportunity for us to have these discussions in smaller groups, Stacy, because I think what you have to share is definitely something that all of us can relate to.
What are we doing for? I mean, I
for
know
the higher level
kids that didn't have, that there was special ed that needed the more special attention that way or whatever, and how that was going to be handled. And then with the kids that are on, in a sense, the higher level or whatever. And again, how do we, keep them involved in talking?
Challenge
and
them.
The teachers agreed to meet with him, 15 minutes every other day on Zoom, just for the 2 of them to talk and chat. And we have done Lego and some other science parts and things to turn in that equate to the boredom of the iPad work and that kind of thing. And then there was the functionality of the iPad as well, not connected. He prefers a laptop or a desktop like they're used to in class versus the iPad and the touch screen. So that was all problematic as well.
I think this merits really good conversation we're going to have right now. Ben Kramer, do you want to, I saw that you posted something that there was a New York Times article that said doing okay is really okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if our guest panelists want to respond to Stacy at all, but I know that because it's such an unprecedented time right now, I don't know that we have the answers. I think we can name it and say that we're doing the best that we can right now with what we can do. Do y'all want to add anything, panelists, guests?
I would have to just, as a mother of a college student, and I don't know if some of you have heard me say this, my son, and when they shifted all the courses online, and I saw the stress on his face because he's an individual that likes to be, around other individuals and just learning. And I was seeing that stress on his face, and he came to us and says, I can't really do this online. I just can't do some other courses. And, as a parent, I had to be okay allowing my son to say, you know what, Mijo, just drop the class. It's okay. And allowing that space for him to, and listening to him and just saying, okay, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. And right now, I'm reminded by one of the Mr. Rogers quotes. A quote from Mr. Rogers says, it doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. And, I just, remind that myself and let all of you who are parents, we're having to deal with being a parent. I got beans going on in the stove right now because I have to prepare dinner, then making sure my son has everything and doing my job. And it's like we're multitasking. And I would say, let's just give each other grace and say, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to be okay as a family and just rely on each other. So
I think this is a good,
I have to tell myself.
I think this is a good segue though. This is a good segue to our next part, which we don't have a lot of time to do. So I want to just jump right in. And again, we're going to stop recording at this point. So Sonia, I don't know if you can help me stop recording. Again, it's going to be a little truncated. And if you